Hello, everyone. November 27th, 2021. I almost feel like it's October 15th, 2013. That's when I had my operation. And life hasn't been the same. That's for another video. I wanted to talk about something since it's the holidays. And of course, I get emails. Who are my top 5 mentors? Why am I doing videos? Why did I stop doing gardening? Why in the world would you quit working? And the ones that ask me, why would you quit working, are those that are not working and think I'm so much younger than them. Well, they've come and gone. I want to talk about, and I do not pronounce Latin very well, but I read it very well because I had to have it. I spent a whole summer. I mean, when you get out of high school and everybody else is, American graffiti, everybody's driving their cars up and down Nolan Road, which, in Independence is actually, is where the movie took off, but it was filmed elsewhere. And that's just what we did. Oh, I didn't. Once or twice. My dad challenged me. He said if he could figure out how to get into college, if you can get accepted, so when he just laid it all out on me one day. I said, okay. The one thing I did not lay it out for him, and I probably wish I would have, but at that time he was going through delirium tremens. DELIRIUM space TREMENS. And I have talked about this before. And by the time this thing posts, it'll be the first day of Hanukkah. My good friend Hilly Billy, which you can find him, said if you know the Jewish holidays and you live your life by them, you must be Jewish. Nope. Pentecostal. New Age, raw food, and put a crystal in your head. But we have this thing called a new variant, and I'll leave it at that for anybody that's interested to listen on. What have they done to us the last 2.5 years? I mean, time is speeding so fast by me. I can't even keep up with everybody. I try to check everybody's pictures after Thanksgiving and see what it would be like if I was there. I'm not going to go into how many called me or emailed me. Only one. Her name is Trixie. And we may do a video in the future because I know she's watching this. Because it's a lot easier to do videos if you have somebody interacting with you. So I'm going to interact with this article. Delirium tremens? I mean, can you imagine being 17 years old? You're one of the most popular kids in high school. And you have to wheel and deal to get a ride home for school. Just so you can wrestle, because that's why I don't worry about all this stuff. I remember a number of times, because I used to ride the bus. I did. Kansas City Metro system. Took me like many, many years to learn how to run the Metro in Kansas City, which is a bus service. But it paid off when I went to Madrid. Another reason why I'm not married. No woman likes to think you're smarter than them, so you have to trick them. I am so dumb and I so love you, and if you ever go in the red on the bank account again, I'm going to go ballistic. All right, let's get into this article. Alcohol withdrawal symptoms, since so many of you have made fun of me because you think half the time I am drunk. I am not. I've had my teeth replaced many times, and I slur my speech unless I don't concentrate on the language that I'm currently speaking. So, comment est-ce parlez-vous pupéa? Nice way to, well, you know. Is the most severe form of alcohol withdrawal. Symptoms of delirium usually begin within 2 to 3 days of quitting drinking and last around 2 to 3 days. The experience of going through delirium tremens can vary from person to person depending on the duration and the frequency of the previous alcohol consumption. Consumption. You know what consumption is? In the Civil War, it's where you kind of got a lung infection and you're coughing up blood and you're having a lot of weird, crazy dreams. And that's why gentlemen back then always carried a handkerchief so no one would see. And for the girls out there, let me say something. Yeah, it probably has to do with scripture. I don't know. Somebody can track it down. What makes us a family? A bloodline. So only about 5% of people going through withdrawal experience the DTs. I actually went and saw my dad. I actually got on a Greyhound bus and actually went to Topeka. They wouldn't let me in. And came back home. And my mom had flipped out. And they are all told they were going through the DTs and it would only last 2 or 3 days. Won't bother you, you'll be fine. We have 15 or 19 of these things lined up. Gosh, you can't get a booster shot unless you get the last 7 ones. Well, I don't even know where to start getting in line. Well, We've already used those up, and since you haven't already entered the experimental phase of it all, I go to australianews.com. Okay, here we go. Heavy long-term alcohol users are more likely to experience delirium. Okay, from this point on, we're not going to call them tremens. That's Latin for tremors. I gotta have one. Delirium is serious, potentially fatal if you or someone you know is experiencing this. So let's talk about the jab. Since only had like 10 or 12 people watching. The rest of it is me just re-hitting and fixing it up. Okay, so delirium can occur when people who consume alcohol heavily reduce their alcohol intake quickly or suddenly stop drinking altogether. Heavy drinking is defined as 8 or more drinks per week, and then they get kind of racist. For women or men, although men seem to alcohol is a depressant, which means that it slows down the central nervous system. Chronic heavy alcohol use can create changes in how the brain works, including how the brain's chemical messengers function. When alcohol consumption suddenly stops, the brain continues working in the state it had become used to, leading to symptoms of alcohol withdrawal. Excuse me, I need to eat some yogurt. People have a higher risk of developing deliriums, which is going to bring up, I'm going to bring this to a close. In the last days, old men will dream dreams, and young men will have visions. Okay, I'm going to step up. I'm going to step up for it. Because anybody that's still hanging on. You know, anybody 70 years old that never got drunk once in their life? I do. I've been married 3 times and have many girlfriends. Outlived them all as far as I know, or they don't want to say, he was pretty hot once, but, okay. So let's compare this to the new variant. Chest pain, deep sleep, fatigue, fever, increased heart rate, involuntary muscular movements or contractions, nausea, seizure, sensitivity to light, sound, and touch, stomach pain, tremors. Psychological symptoms. False T. See? I could get them all replaced, but why? I wear a mask everywhere I go except here. All right, here are the anxiety, confusion, delirium, delusion, disorientation, excitement, fear, hallucinations, irritability, mood changes, and nightmares. Here's the diagnosis. Check for magnesium levels. Make sure your heart's on the last day, your heart will fail you for the things you see coming upon the earth. Electroencephalogram, EEG. Severe alcohol withdrawal can cause changes in the brain that can lead to seizures. I mean, I was with this doctor for like 12 years. By the time they put them all off me and they took a pitch, they took them all off, and I said, they kind of tickled. No. I was not flirting. I was wondering how a single photograph could tell you anything. And then, of course, there's the toxicology screen. This measures how much alcohol in your body, and it's usually performed by testing a blood sample or urine. Well, I'm kind of like those kids in college back in the early 70s. If I knew I was testing for a test, I tried to figure out the test and how to beat the test. You're not beating this variant test, because they read this article years and years ago. DTs are a medical emergency that requires hospitalization. Treatment is focused first and foremost on saving the individual's life, preventing complications, and minimizing symptoms. Well, if my dear mom-in-law? No, stepmom. You get my age. You can't keep track of who's who, but you know, on Thanksgiving, the family always calls you, texts you, checks in with you, or says, you cannot come over anymore because I am so tired of you talking about buying Bitcoin. I don't want to hear about it. Well, it almost went up to 80. Max Kaiser says it's going up to $125,000 a coin by New Year's Day. Well, I'm not smart enough to understand about any of that. Oh, I need a drink of water. Love, hope, family. Learn, don't argue, and stay together. Because every family member has a purpose, even if they live or outlive all of their family. Oh, that's pretty deep, Robert.